Okay, yeah, so welcome to Social Media Fridays. Each week we meet to wind down and consider what happened in the previous 7 days in the world of social media. With us today we have Girish Kapoor. Girish is proud to call himself an SEO. He hails from Chandigarh in India. Masataki Wasa is webmaster of wasaweb.net and also a Google top contributor on the AdSense and Google Plus Help communities. And Tony McCreath is Australia's leading SEO, or maybe Adelaide's leading SEO. He runs a website in Adelaide, websiteadvantage.com.au, and currently he's in, is it Sheffield?
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm up north.
Okay. And I know before, while we were in the green room, we were talking about Greggs, and you told me that there are 3 Greggs in your area, so you'll be interested in this. This was an interesting thing that happened. I think it came about because they're using a logo on a Wikia site, and this was picked up and added to the knowledge graph. If you're following along at home, you'll find all this on the Social Media Fridays community on Google+. But anyway, what happened was Greggs handled this very well, I thought. They engaged in a Twitter conversation with google.co.uk and had the problem fixed within about 4 or 5 hours. The actual problem was that the Greggs logo was switched, and the switched logo had a slogan, providing shit to scum for over 70 years. Who wants to address this one?
I think the free donuts was the really good little touch at the end. If I got that right, did they send donuts to Google?
Well, didn't actually send actual donuts. They sent a picture of donuts, and
well, that's cheating.
They later sent a picture of Google, the word Google spelled out in sausage rolls, and Google replied with a tray of sausage roll crumbs. So I thought that was pretty good. We were talking about this on Dumb SEO Questions last night. This is something which really Google should be tightening up a little bit. And they could do it very easily in that, I mean, a logo is just so important to a business. It's a primary requirement, and they could enforce a rule that nothing goes on the knowledge graph unless the logo is declared in schema on the domain's homepage. And and if people complain that their logo doesn't appear, well, Google can say, well, put it in schema, and at least that way nobody else can do what was done. Because apparently there was a bit of a tug of war for a while with Greggs' social media staff swapping the image, and other people thought it was funny to swap it back again.
So shouldn't Wikipedia take some blame as well?
Oh, no, it's not Wikipedia.
Not actually Wikipedia.
It's wikia.com.
Oh.
So, yeah, I think Jim's point is important, but it may point to the fact that the take-up rate for organization logo schema markup is very low. I think very few companies, organizations have properly marked up their websites with schema.org, and that might be one of the problems. And of course, the second issue that came about is which sources should Google use to populate the knowledge graph results? Because if it's a simple search, it wouldn't have appeared, right? Because it would have been based on what's on the site, what's on the page. But because this is an entity that appears on the knowledge graph, Google takes information, pieces of information from different sources, and then present it in as one entity. And I think that's where the issue arose, because one of the sources was fallible, shall we say.
Maybe the defense is you want to make sure you do a stronger signal yourself on what the proper logo is, like schema, which will reduce the chance that a stray one will get in there.
Yeah, I think for something like Greg's, that probably would work. But what if knowledge graph is triggered, but your website doesn't have a strong signal compared to many of the different sources? So you might have marked up your site properly, but would Google then take that information from the website over any other source when they're populating the knowledge graph? Will they override what's stated or what's been uploaded, for example, on Wikipedia?
Yeah, because the trust in a website, who knows if that website is the official one? So I guess you got publisher markup and going to the Google Plus page, and
yeah, but then it's bi-directional, so you could set up a fake site with a fake Google Plus page.
Yeah.
You can imagine the hue and cry there would be if it happened to Google. You're not the least black hat person I know, Tony McCreath, but would you accept that as a challenge?
We could crowdsource it. A couple of million people changing their Wikipedia, they'll have no chance.
Okay, so have we covered Greg's?
Yeah, so they did a good reaction to a problem and made it a positive rather than negative, which is good.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember David Ameland telling me a story of I think it was Johnson & Johnson in China, and they got a bagging on social media, and they responded to it positively, and took blame where blame was due, but generally dealt with it quickly and positively, and their sales spiked. Their sales went up because of that adverse social media that was dealt with properly. All right, now we have the next article, which was posted by you, Tony, with the line, because your stream is not active enough already. We really do need sarcasm tags. Apparently, Twitter is to start showing you tweets from people you don't follow.
So I think the idea there is they're going to start working out tweets that you might be interested in to try and get you interested in other people and things like that. So it could be interesting, but as I say, I think enough tweets fly past my eyes that adding more, I don't know, I can't see how that's going to be beneficial.
Yeah.
So this is not paid thing. It's just that they're going to add tweets that you may be interested because other people that you follow have favorited it or retweeted that tweet.
So I guess a bit like what Facebook does, or did.
Well, it's similar to what Google Plus does, isn't it? Allowing people that don't follow you and you don't follow, allowing them to notify you in. Oh wait a minute, they have to follow you. That's right. They follow you, but you don't follow them. But they are able to notify you in the notification system.
Is it that sort
Which
of thing, or just algorithmic? Twitter works out maybe what's popular or relevant.
Yeah, it looks like sort of popular tweet kind of idea. So I suppose if it may be analogical, maybe similar to Google Plus What's Hot. And if you allow that in your stream, then you see them. So.
Did it say if that was live yet, or that's coming out?
I think it's to start, so
Yeah.
I'll check the article and see if they gave a date.
I might go on my Twitter account and see if I see anything interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, I can read you an update from what is a Twitter timeline. Additionally, when we identify a tweet, an account to follow, or other content that's popular or relevant, we may add it to your timeline. And this means you will sometimes see tweets from accounts you don't follow. We select each tweet using a variety of signals, including how popular it is and how people in your network are interacting with it. Our goal is to make your home timeline even more relevant and interesting.
Yeah, it could be. It's probably a good idea on Twitter's side because it'll make people discover more, follow more people.
But I don't know. I tend to start following people when other people retweet things. So I'm not so sure how much more it would add because to me, I always feel that people retweet things quite readily. So if there is something that's genuinely interesting or popular among my network, as it were, then I'm bound to come across it because someone's going to retweet it.
Yeah, so you'll already see it in your stream anyhow.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting how that worked because if the same thing has been retweeted and then props up as being popular.
I guess we just got to wait and see how it pans out.
Okay. All right. I think we can say that we've covered this one.
Yeah.
If there are no objections, I'll go on to the next, which is more interesting to me. It was a post from Tony McCreath, but originally shared by Alistair Lattimore. I'll read Alistair's comments. He titled it Facebook Cross-Device and App Conversion Tracking. He said this is massive news, not only for Facebook as an advertising platform, but for advertisers. Finally, Facebook are going to be able to show the true value of their advertising network to advertisers, which has been notoriously hard to measure in a cross-device and application world. So the item on Facebook.com was measuring conversions on Facebook across devices and in mobile apps. See that for the first time, people are moving between devices across mobile apps and the web before they convert.
So I guess in more layman's terms, this is if someone's on their mobile phone and your advertising sends them to Facebook, but then they later, using the same Facebook account on their computer, buy, then you will actually know that the mobile phone was the cause of the conversion. Hence cross-device, mobile phone to your PC or your tablet, which this is something that Google Analytics with Universal Analytics have supported for a while now. So it's a good move for Facebook to follow suit.
I was muted again. Comments, Mr. Taki or Girish? Well, I think it's an interesting thing because so many people research on their mobile at work or on the train or in their car, unfortunately. But don't actually do the buying purchase. They just don't buy from their mobile phone, but they do buy from their PC. So if this does work, this will be extremely valuable. And I mentioned how valuable it would be to somebody like Alistair Lattimore, who runs a group of websites turning over $1,100 million a year. Anyway, let's have a look at the next.
Well, on that one, what is a conversion in Facebook? Is it a like, a comment, or do conversions get a bit deeper than that?
I don't know how to Facebook, Tony, so I'm
yeah,
totally...
I couldn't ask you.
Yeah, and it is Facebook ads within Facebook, right? So, you're queuing in a line at a bank, and you see an ad. How is that initial targeting done? And will they be on Facebook?
So, yes, I might have to look into that because I think Facebook's expanded their advertising system to include the widgets on your websites and things. So it'd be interesting how far they can track things and what they can class as a conversion. They may be able to class a conversion as going to the website, which I think is a lot more valuable than a like.
Yeah, I think it's off Facebook. I think it is on the advertiser's site, I would have thought.
I'll have a look into that. Tune in next.
Yep, be sure to report back. Now, I just want to make sure we're not covering one from next week. No, from last week, I should say. No, well, here's one that doesn't need a big description. It was posted by Tony McCreath in the Social Media Fridays community on Google+, and it was titled "Facebook is now dropping their email service."
Yeah, that's about it. I don't think anybody used it, but it's basically they'll forward their. Everybody got a Facebook email address at one point, and now they're just going to forward it to your normal one and drop it as a service. But I don't think anybody ever used it.
No, because you had to log into Facebook to use it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Sorry. Bit early in the day for me.
So, yeah, I think there was just no uptake on it, so they're just dropping it. Too expensive to keep it going.
You couldn't have it. Could you have forwarded it, or use an email client with it? I can't remember. Or did you actually have to log on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm not sure actually how far the service was. I'd presume it was while you logged in, you'd get and receive like messages. Obviously, if we can't work it out, then nobody else could, and nobody used it.
Tell me about it. We had, I think, about 10 texts last night trying to set up a multimedia hookup. The closest we got was when everybody else packed up and went home. Edwin Yonk and myself were still there, and the closest I got was a link with my video running on one end, and he was able to make text chats from his end. Watch this space. We've got to get it right for next Friday anyway. By the way, this is a shout out to I think it's Mahmood Mohammed who answered yes that he'd be watching, and I think he's probably watching now. I put a link on the Social Media Fridays event announcement in the comments section there. Look, feel free to join us if you like. All right, have we covered this one, guys?
Yeah.
Where's it coming from?
Oh, was that my dad's clock?
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
It's 7:30.
No problem. Okay, this is an interesting one. Again, posted by Tony, and it was about a doctor's surgery operating under the National Health Service in the UK. And they put a sign up. They later took it down and reworded it and put it back up again. But their sign initially posted in their surgery claimed zero tolerance for social media posts, which they termed as bullying and harassment. And it was something like the hotel we spoke of a week or two ago, where the hotel was going to claim $500 an issue. Well, in this case, the doctor was going to take them off the list and deny them visits if they posted anything disparaging on social media. Did anybody have a closer look at this one?
I remember reading a comment which I thought was good on how they should have done it, and basically change the wording to imply that you will get a faster response if you do it this way rather than that way. We don't have the resources for social media, rather than just this kind of if you do it, we'll punish you.
Yeah. So many people, I think, they just don't engage the brain before they jump in. Anyway, here we have another article, which is 26 social listening tools. It was titled on the Kissmetrics blog with their inimitable understatement, 26 social listening tools to infuse your e-commerce marketing with awesome intelligence, and bang, there's another pop-up. Thank you, Kissmetrics. Guys, were you managed to get past the hedge of pop-up windows and read this article on Kissmetrics? Not that I'm saying anything disparaging about Kissmetrics. I'm a big fan.
I actually have a policy that I don't share Kissmetrics. I might read their stuff, but I'm not going to put people through the punishment.
Yeah. His argument is that they work. I mean, he's done the A/B testing, and that the pop-ups actually work. I mean, he might piss a few people off in the process, but there are probably enough gormless people in the world willing to say, "Oh, what's this in front of my eye?"
and they're probably the ones that will buy things as well.
Yeah. It's like those squeeze pages, isn't it? They're the ones that go on and on forever, and they keep refining, hitting the user with even more and more outlandish statements, so that if you actually reach the bottom, you must be stupid enough to buy this product.
But not only that product, you'll also get a set of kitchen knives.
Yeah.
I went through this one, and nothing particularly new, or if it was something very expensive.
Yeah.
So nothing that I could use out of it anyhow.
Okay. All right. Next we have two posts. It's very hard to know how to deal with this. I didn't know for a couple of days, and then I made a post today. And the reason I made a post is because Twitter actually scrubbed these things from Twitter. I'm referring to the beheading of that young journalist, James Wright Foley, and such a shocking thing. And I mean, Twitter at least has been scrubbing these and closing accounts for sharing these images. And YouTube also has said, we'll stop accounts. But if you do a search on YouTube today, say for beheading James Foley, you'll find hundreds of copies of this scummy crap. I just don't think it's good enough. I don't. I mean, Google is actually profiting from these clips, and they should work harder. I don't think we'll find an answer here today. It's something that's troubled me for a couple of days, and I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on this, guys. The post that I posted, or the post that I shared onto the Social Media Fridays community, began. It was from Eileen O'Duffy, and she said, "We shouldn't need the law to remind us of basic human decency and respect for the dead and their relatives," and that's it in a nutshell. We shouldn't need. I mean, Google and YouTube shouldn't need to have to apply. Is this free speech? I mean, some things are so frigging obvious that it just doesn't need to be thought about. But to announce that they're going to suspend accounts for sharing these videos, and simultaneously have hundreds of these accounts sharing these videos. It's just hypocrisy. It's just bullshit. They're doing it for profit, and they should really hang their heads in shame. Anyway, that's my bit.
So, and some newspapers got chastised as well, I believe. Then seeing a bit on the news here, seeing there's kind of meta news. It's people are reporting on other people reporting on kind of thing. So they kind of starting to pick on each other, which I know it's almost like saying you're not allowed to report about it, but I'm allowed to report about you not being allowed to report about it. It seems a bit weird.
Well, I mean, this is what these people crave when they do these things. By giving them what they want, you're encouraging them to do it again. And I mean, it's bad enough to hear of things that happen in war, and even worse to hear about civilians being slaughtered. Like in the Israel-Palestinian conflict. But this is I mean, at least it can be said that Israel, the tank commander was acting under orders from the Israeli government, and he couldn't see the children in the school that he shelled. At least there's, I mean, even though the act was abhorrent, there is some saving grace. But to deliberately cut off a head, it's just so shocking. It's just beyond belief that anyone would do it. But then to film it. And to have those suckholes at YouTube promoting it. I mean, I remember Kerry Packer years ago. There was a bit of content which was a bit piss weak, and he rang the studio, and the Channel 9 actually shut down for 20 minutes because they had no programming to replace. But Kerry Packer said, "Get this shit off the air," and that's exactly what YouTube should be doing, just clean that shit out.
Yeah, I mean, I have made a conscious decision not to see it. I haven't seen it. What I've seen is what they show on TV, which is a still message, or the message before all that actual horrible, outrageous act happened. So that still image, I think, captures everything. You don't need to see the video to realize how evil, how outrageous, how barbaric the action is. And to me, to actually seek out and to watch desensitize you to violence and to evil. And it makes that banal. It's that ideal banality of evil. It's been shared as if a piece of news, like any other, on social media. And you think, for goodness sake, a journalist has been beheaded in the 21st century. That is unbelievably shocking stuff. But it's traded like any other piece of news by people who don't seem to have the capacity to imagine or to have any sort of empathy except to see it as some sort of, either piece of any other news. I mean, it is just, I just didn't get it. I really didn't get the whole thing that people want to share it, even watching it. It is beyond my imagination that people would want to do it. In previous conflicts, outlets such as Al Jazeera posted images and materials that other news outlets did not. And I've seen a few of those because I think that was the context. I wanted to know what was happening. I'm not totally against the idea that you have to report what actually happens. You have to see what is actually happening, not the sanitized version, not the bloodless version that appears on some of our media outlets. But I think to watch this, there is no need for it. The people should be able to understand, to conceive that beheading someone and beheading as some sort of propaganda tool or in a symbolic manner in this world today, that is not something that is done or should not be done. It should not be something that should be condoned. So yeah, I don't know. I just didn't get it.
I guess different people are seeing this in different ways. Like, some people are sharing it like a cat video, and there are going to be people out there who actually think it's great. They're going like, "Good on you." I'm sure there's a whole different set of viewpoints going out, and yeah. So I guess are we meant to freedom of speech and things like that? Are we meant to let things go out, or is there a line like this where we do go, I don't like it, it shouldn't be there?
That's a really big debate, isn't it? I wish you could have freedoms in an ideal world. You'd have an absolute freedom of speech in that. But at the same time, you would have people who would use that freedom responsibly. Or there would be some sort of social constraint on what people would say publicly. I mean, people will have weird things to. People will have weird beliefs and things to. Beliefs and ideas in private, but to publicly publish. That's only pretty odd. Anyway, but to publish something in the public sphere seemingly without any thought, seemingly without any sort of empathy, or seemingly without any thought for the consequence of that act. I mean, then we're just heading into the lowest common denominator kind of like, are we mature enough as a society for our freedoms? If individuals lose their moral compasses, that's a terrible thing. And I think I see it as a loss of the moral compass in this instance.
But I guess everybody's got a different moral compass. You can't group everybody as a one society thing, and that's something we've got to deal with.
Yeah,
everybody's got a different viewpoint.
It's a contextual thing. I mean, if let's say this is propaganda aimed at recruiting more members for the Islamic State, that would be a completely different intention. That would be a completely different audience from us. I think it's fair to say we're all deeply shocked about this. Um, so yeah, it's a tough one, but I think okay, yes, I am imposing um, my moral and ethical standards to a certain extent. I'm not saying that I'm right, but I find it very hard to accept that people who have shared materials is seemingly without contextualizing it in a way that would make it not acceptable, but putting that in the right in the right place. If people are saying, okay, here's the video without comment, then what are you supposed to do with that?
I mean, I guess drawing getting close to the thing of like, is it just a movie? It's not real. Just sharing it like that, as if it's a snippet from a movie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. To me, as I will go back to the point I made earlier, in that I think it just desensitizes us. Just I think we lose it. It's a it's a hyperbole, but I would say every time we do these kind of things, watch these things, then we lose a bit of humanity in ourselves. It just desensitizes ourselves.
Mm.
And I think that where do you draw the line? Who draws the line? Again, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Again, having said that, having rhetorically asked, are we mature enough for our freedoms? I don't want any one or any state or any government to draw that line, and obviously that has implications because I have issues with, for example, laws against denying the Holocaust. For example, I think I would rather have freedom of speech and then make sure that all the historical literature and so on and so forth will make sure that there will be no doubt about what happened. Because sorry, go ahead.
It's a big kettle of fish, isn't it? The whole subject matter.
Yeah, I mean, again, where do you draw the line? I mean, inciting hatred. What constitutes that? Those kind of things. So it's really hard. I think that let's put it this way. I think it is sad when things have to be legislated against. It is sad of situation that in certain countries there has to be a law against people who deny the Holocaust because there's a need for that. There shouldn't be a need for that, but there is. There shouldn't really be a need for a law against inciting hatred against other people. But
That one to me actually feels like the inciting hatred one is I can't see too much of a problem of that law because it's more like it's how you debate. It's setting rules on how to debate rather than saying you can't say anything. It says you can't say it in a certain way.
Yeah, but in a sense, again, the point is that we shouldn't really be needing that law.
Yeah, it'd be ideal.
In an ideal world, but we do, and that's the problem. There's a law against something because usually there is a need for that law. There needs to be something that needs legislating against. And again, in this case, how do we do that? Where do we draw the line? Because some people are asking for the anti-terror laws to be used against people sharing or even perhaps viewing this video in the
Right.
UK, because it's a criminal offence now, isn't it? Is it to support or encourage? I can't remember the exact wording of the legislation, but there are certain things that you cannot do. So is that going to be applied in this instance?
Yeah. And would that include all the newspapers and media and ourselves because we're talking about it?
No, because A, we are not sharing the material, and B, we're not supporting the position of the Islamic State. I don't think anyone here is. So.
Or in this case, is it more about kidnapping and making money? That seems kind of a lying thing.
Yeah, I mean that's partly how they fund themselves, right? Kidnapping and demanding ransom. And I think the United States and the United Kingdom do not, at state level, negotiate.
And so this is the punishment. Say if you don't negotiate, if you don't give us money, because they've got to have that leverage.
Yeah.
And so all the publicity is, yeah.
And some countries do negotiate. They won't publicly admit it, but they do. So it's a lucrative business for many military groups in the region. It's one way they fund themselves. It's one of the ways. Sorry. So yeah, and apparently they hold many captives at the moment. So, there could be, there are more people held in hostage, which is a horrible situation.
Hello, Maher. We're talking about the. Go ahead.
I just said hi.
Okay.
Well, I'm just going through the list that you sent me.
Okay. There's two articles there that are also on the Social Media Fridays community on Google Plus. Yeah. It's I'd rather not end on a sad note, but there's nothing really else that we can do about it, is there?
No, I mean, I think social media is a good reflection of us as a society. It's kind of mirror that we look into. That it reflects different, diverse opinions, diverse ways of people interacting out in public, not sort of through the edited or controlled media. Controlled is not the right word, sorry, but in a sense edited. So it is direct. It's first person singular narrative. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm sharing. This is what I'm looking at. It's an aggregation of that, social media platforms. And it is, I think, a kind of a mirror of the society that we live in. And you just, sometimes you just don't like what you see in the mirror.
Yes.
But of course, it does have, online social media does have better versions of all the TV news, television news, to be honest. I mean, like, if you just hear the television news, they go on about the same thing, repeating whole day when it comes to anything like this, and they edit it just for the sake of people are going to sit and watch. But when it comes to an online platform, people have different views, people have different, experiences, and they write it. The content, the quality is pretty good. The facts are much better than televisions. In that case, I would have to vote up for that.
Well, I have to report that I just put another post that I made earlier in the day. I shared it to the Social Media Fridays community. I have to say that when I shared that at 12:04 p.m. Australian time today, I'll just put a link in the chat there for you. What I saw on YouTube was very different to what is there now. I did a search on YouTube for the keywords beheading of James Foley, and what I see, what I see there now is not the actual video, but news of that video. But geez, even then, aren't we? I know. I go to the second page, and there are still more. I haven't seen it either, Masataki. I just couldn't bring myself to watch. But it looks like YouTube is actually making an effort, so perhaps I was a bit overly critical there. Yeah. It's the clock again.
Yeah. Going on. And it needs winding up as well.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing further that you guys would like to discuss in our broadcast, other than Tony's clock, and I can get your dad's selling a guitar. Edwin Young might buy you a guitar, Tony, your dad's guitar.
Yeah, it's what was it? Forgot the name already. So I'll show you again.
You said a flunker or something.
Hoffer, wasn't it? Hofner.
Yeah, a Hofner.
A Hofner. That's a beautiful thing.
Hofner, so it's it's a plug for it. It's acoustic, electric, just like the Beatles.
Awesome.
On eBay now.
Jim, Edwin is here. By the way, we're missing, Tim. He must be having a great, I think, response in it. But we should also ask Edwin for the same.
Well, I'll let you ask him because I'm not sure what I'm supposed to ask him.
About the 2 posts that you shared with me, his reviews on that. He's given his review online, by the way. Edwin, you posted a link, remember? About Foley's video?
Okay. Well, I think we really have covered this, but I'm doing as you told me. It's done.
Well, I first have to read it, no?
That's
Yeah.
really sad.
Look, let me take a vote. Should we close the items? All right. Look, I'm going to take an executive decision. Thank you very much for watching us this week, and we appreciate that you would have an interest in what we have to say. It's your interest that makes what we do worthwhile. We'll be back at the same time next week on Friday to do it all again. And in the event page and also on the Social Media Fridays community, I'm just about to add a link. We'll close this broadcast and go to Green Room now, and you are more than welcome to join us.